Welcome back to the third video of the solving Titanic problem using Excel. As we have seen in the previous video, we have explored the data set and we found there are some missing values in certain variables. So what we're going to do now in this particular video is we're going to treat the missing values, and while we're doing that, we're also going to explore certain things. So I've just left that step highlighted here. So let's get into it. So in my data set, I have four variables which have missing value. That is after I have combined all the rows from test and train data set. So effectively we have 1309 rows and four of them are missing. First, let's begin with embarked since the easiest one to clean. So embarked can be cleaned like this, and I decided to use entirely functions in this particular series. That way it will help you know how to use Excel primarily from a functions perspective. Anyway, so I'm going to do clean embarked, right? So I'm going to call it embarked underscore one, right? And we're going to have a new variable here. I'm just going to copy this towards the right hand side. Now there are zero, but we're going to introduce more of them. But before that, what we're going to do is copy this column and create a new sheet and paste special values, right? Now we have all the rows within this data, and I'm just going to rename the sheets. I'm going to call this as Titanic all and cleaning embarked. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to delete the first row, and then I'm going to select this entire column and data remove duplicates, right? Which means there are only three such values in embarked, and now I want to know how many times each of them occurred within the data set. Okay, so to do that, what I can do is I can simply put this count and I'll say is equal to sum ifs, or rather count ifs, sorry, right? The criteria range is here, right? Comma, I'll go back to this data set and I'm going to select this, right? Close the bracket and enter. Now if I drag this down, you'll notice I have the count of each of the embarked values present in that column, right? Now if you sum this up, it will be summing up to 1307, which is what we have here. Now what do we do with this missing values? Obviously there are two missing values. 1309 is there, so two missing values, which means we can safely replace those two missing values with S because it's the most common occurred within that particular column. So let's go to the data set and replace it. So if this is equal to blank, then we are going to place it with S, else it's going to be the same one here, right? So let's copy the formula down, and as you notice that we'll have 1309 uh, values within this particular column, which means two of those values are replaced and we do not have any of these missing values here. Let's go and look at the empty um, missing values within this column, and as you can note here that the 64th record or the 62nd passengers, the embarked information is missing, and we have now replaced it with S, which is the most commonly occurred within the embarked column, right? Now, once we have done that, obviously we need to check what happens with this particular column, right? And for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say embarked underscore one, right? And I'm going to copy this here, right? Now I'm going to also copy this formula, right? And just paste it here, right? And sorry, and the column name is M, right? So I'm just going to paste this here and change this to m colon m, which will give me the same information. But what you'll see that from 914 it has increased to 916 just because we have replaced the values, right? So that's how we replace embarked. And once we have done this, um, as you can notice that the kind of formulas that we are writing here can get tedious at times. So what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to create a name for all of these columns, right? And how can I do that? I can simply create all the, I can select all the columns here and control shift down, right? That selects all of the rows within this data set. And I'm going to go to the formula tab, call it create from selection, and I'm just going to say top row. So what this does now is that if you go to num manager, you're going to see all of these columns here. So instead of me going back and forth, writing all these and selecting them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in a much more better way. So I'm just going to say count if of embarked. I'm going to select embarked, comma this, and I'm going to copy it down, right? So similarly, I can rewrite this formula instead of having Titanic M colon M. I'm going to say embarked underscore one and select the value, right? And it's going to be select here and this one, right? So it's much more simpler and it's going to be helpful for us to do all these missing value treatment. In the next video, we're going to treat more variables.